bids for the fire department roof. We have one bid here that came in late, and I don't know who it's from. I just think that we set a deadline, and we should stick to it. I don't think we should open this one. Consensus?
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, fine. All right.
How many did we get?
One, two, okay, seven.
Get it all together.
What's your first one?
All right, somebody gonna
Yep.
you're gonna record these?
Yep.
As I stated in our pre-bid meeting, we may or may not accept the lowest bid. This is Boca Builders, stripping, they have included putting plywood on the roof, which I don't think it's been determined that's necessary, but the total bid, and he's broke it down into several sections, is $88,395. That's $66.75 to strip and dispose of the shingles, $36,490 for the shingles, ice and water shield is $3,000, sidewall flashing is $2,000, bracket flashing is $2,000, plywood is $24,030. So I would think that, if it doesn't need plywood, you could take the $24,000 off, and then $14,000 for soffit and insulation. That's the first one. I think the general consensus of everybody that went out and looked at the attic is that there's really nothing wrong with the plywood.
Always borrowing Gail's adult knife.
Jar Management Incorporated, J-A-R-R, Management Incorporated.
Got the bid too.
53,000, he just gives a single number of $53,000. 50-year warranty on the shingles, and he's included all the other information that we require. Okay.
All right.
JB Roofing Systems, LLC.
JV, is it Victor?
JB.
B is in Bob.
Okay, thank you.
JB, yeah.
Victor.
Someone's here, there's got to be a price. Yeah, with me. $40,635. And that price includes fixing the 3x4 downspout at the north end of the building on the garage door, by the garage.
Did others include that?
I did not see it.
Okay.
Yeah, but this one, he did say he fixed that
Okay.
downspout. ABL Roofing. Got a picture of the building.
Should be about 5 pages in it. I'd like to ease you into the price.
I don't know. I didn't see one.
$70,695.
And that included plywood, Because I was under the assumption that we did need to replace the plywood from that meeting.
That's what I got from it too.
Were you gonna sheathe over or remove and
We were
replace?
gonna remove the
Okay.
sheathing and put 5/8 Advantech on there. Now I can adjust my numbers if you guys decide you wanna keep the plywood, but I was under the assumption we were replacing it.
Okay.
That was a little difficult reading because we heard a lot of things that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Some of you folks went up in the roof, said that what we had was okay, some thought it was okay to go over it. We got into this whole discussion of removing it.
Right. All I can remember from it, we talked that it was spongy, and we didn't want to go over it because it would be too heavy
Yeah.
to replace, take it off.
So that was 70 what?
76.95,
And-
which Levi sent me a message yesterday, and I had asked you about it.
Yeah.
And I was under the assumption that we
Yeah.
were replacing the plywood, and I reiterated that to Levi.
We were, but we,
Because he,
that's right, but we also had said, you know, pretend we don't know anything about roofs and you tell us, and that's what we got to evaluate. So you're talking about stripping the roof, putting all new sheathing and doing it all new. And-
And some of those bids, like I assume that the 40,053 might, I'm sure you're gonna read over it, but might not include plywood.
Might just be
It
shingles.
might just
Yeah,
be thrown out there, so.
right. Well, that's what we got to,
Was that 76,000 or 70,000?
7,695.
70,695. Is that one from David?
Innovative Roofing, New Hampshire. And I've yet to find a price. Oh, here it is. The cost to replace, he's given us two prices, $38,950, and then if he has to replace the, to put 5/8 CDX on the entire roof, it's $61,945
as a total or an addition?
total. No, it's a total.
Okay, what was the total? 60 what?
$61,945.
CDX is cheaper.
We don't have to sit and go through these.
Consult with our roofing expert. This is our roofing expert. Have you met him yet?
Yeah, when you fall off the roof.
He works with this guy over here.
Yeah, okay.
You're in the middle.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right,
It'd be like buying a car.
Austin, Hensby, and Sons Incorporated. You want the spelling?
Hinsby got it.
And Sons.
Incorporated.
Incorporated. All right, he broke it down, shingles 41,975, to put the plywood on is another 20,250, and $1,650 for the dumpster, and the total cost is $63,875.
Included shipping.
This is porch roofing.
They're all over. I'm getting the idea
It's kind of nice to send us pictures of our own building now.
What?
They all send us pictures of our own building.
In case you find, I've never seen it.
We got the right building.
This is what it could look like. You get a kick out of this one.
647.
The shingles are $39,990. Roof deck replacement is $24,985. And fixing the gutters is 1 cent. Yeah, they want to get paid for their work.
So what's the total?
What's the total?
That's like
I don't give me a total.
40, 64, 63, 60, yeah, I get to 63, 64,000 something. It's these two numbers added together, right?
Yeah.
Plus the 1 cent.
Plus the penny. Can't forget that.
I have checked with my manufacturer, I go to because all the commercial buildings, they have to make sure they're gonna warranty it, they go through approval process, they did approve it. So Woolwich actually gets a certificate of warranty from the manufacturer directly to.
64,975.01.
1 second.
64 what?
97.
975.01. Gotta remember the penny. Nobody works for nothing.
That's right.
Close ones here.
Oh, was that removal of the old or just going over it?
I think they all say that they'll strip it. I believe everybody here is saying that they're just going to put.
So it's replacement.
I haven't had a chance to really read them all, but I think everybody's saying that they're just gonna roof over they're gonna plywood over the plywood, I think. But that's something we're gonna have to look at.
Yeah, well, you didn't say that, go ahead.
No.
He didn't say that,
No,
and then I think this one said replacement, so
okay, it's a replacement, so we'll have to look at it and decide.
We're gonna strip it. I can, if you got it, I know all the bids are in, but I can give you a number for just shingling. You need to compare apples to apples. I know about 3 or 4 numbers in there had separate shingles or doing it with all plywood and shingles. So mine is just $76.95 replacement.
I gotta tell you, I honestly think we ought to cover the roof. I think we ought to either cover the plywood that's up there or replace the plywood.
yeah, I don't know, I think,
This building was built in 1980 by the lowest bidder, and
maybe you need to say that.
If that's the case, I think I'd
that
rather
has come
strip
back,
it.
that has come back and
Well,
bite
they-
us several times.
But it's trusses, right? It's
Yes,
not
it is trusses.
stick-built roof, rafters, right? So
Any idea what the load, carrying load?
Well, no, I think what we need to do is sit down and write down look at all these, analyze them. Obviously, this gentleman's here, and he's talking about stripping it and using 5/8 Advantac, right?
Advantac.
Some of these are using plywood, find out what the way to compare thicknesses and who's stripping, who's not. I mean, I still think personally that you're recommending your bid's the way to go.
Yes.
That's, and forget the price, but that's the way you think.
Right,
it should
yeah,
go.
right.
Okay, that's what I think we should look at, is look at everybody's, then, I think we have to then get into the whole comparison. I'm not a builder, I don't know anything, but
I know.
between CDX and Advantac, right, and which one's the right way to go?
When you guys meet, let me know and I'll have Lonnie make sure you.
Well,
I did put my price, when you read through it, a price for CDX in there. So I did Advantac, and I said, I think I said $1,900 less of it. CDX.
well, I think we need to just look at every single thing, and
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, over the years, they've made a lot of improvement in the materials that they use on roofs.
right,
And again, when this building was built, they cut every corner of the pond. You know,
I would think while we're doing it, to do it right.
well,
Yeah.
that's the thing, I mean, this is not that old a roof. I mean, by roofing standards, the roof that's up there is not that old.
right.
yeah, it's 15 years, right?
15, 16 years old, and if we put a roof up there, if we do a decent job on it this time, it'll probably last 20, 30, 35 years, you know? And by that time, it'll be somebody else's problem.
Maybe not.
But, okay, all right, if we don't run too late tonight, why don't we just set and try to make some kind of a chart or something, so we can compare apples to apples and oranges here, and see who's bidding what and everything, and give everybody a fair shake. Okay? All right.
Am I all set?
You're all
Yeah,
set?
if anyone want a copy, I have a copy of the bid if you guys want.
All right, we're all,
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for coming.
Nice picture, too.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I have an email here, my eye.
I think it's right here. It's over here.
Cleaning service bid. We have one bid.
Yes, we do.
I can guarantee you this will be the lowest bid.
But we may not take the lowest bid, right?
It'll always be the highest bid. It'll also be the highest bid. And this Conrad, somebody we know. Yearly price is $6,000.
What all does it include? I mean, it's weekly or?
It's once a week, and it is cleaning the restrooms, which would be the 3 restrooms, this one and the 2 downstairs.
The corridors, carpet areas, all carpets will be vacuumed, spots treated as needed, entry mats will be vacuumed, tile floors, all tile floors will be swept and washed weekly. Trash, all trash and recyclables will be emptied every week, dusted every week, clean and disinfect tables, tablecloths, public counter areas will be wiped down, disinfected weekly, windows will be cleaned inside once a month and outside once a year.
Yeah, that one we need to eliminate. That's just kind of never been done
Yeah.
since this has ever.
The weekly cleaning service will be accomplished at regular, mutually agreeable times. The contractor will supply all labor necessary to accomplish the above work. Town of Woolwich will supply the bathroom tissue, hand soap, paper towels, and can liners. The contractor agrees to defend, identify, and hold the municipality and its officers, agents harmless of any suits or anything. A successful contractor must show evidence of the insurance. Okay. And, yeah,
Which that breaks down to $500 a month. We currently pay the cleaning company now $350 a month, but we sometimes get somebody's uncle who shows up for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
okay.
Wow.
So, I,
think my office is better.
When does,
yeah,
Kim, remind us, but you mentioned, when does the existing one expire?
well, I sent them the bid and they said they weren't gonna put in for it just because they just don't have anybody to cover. And the one person that does come here, when she's sick or is on vacation, then we get, one of her family members who,
Whoever they got.
yeah.
So when does the current contract expire?
She asked me, and I said technically it would be the end of June, but we can eliminate it anytime. Because she thinks that, when she thought it was in March, because that was when the bid was due. And I would prefer to get somebody sooner than later, to be honest.
When was the last time we signed a contract with them? Do you know?
Couldn't tell you.
So would we have,
It's been years.
would we have adequate funding? I mean, we have contingency, but would we have funding,
We have plenty of funding,
I mean, to
yeah,
cover, you have,
Is that a line item in the budget, a separate
It
line
is.
item?
yeah.
Okay.
So we
This
would,
one here is simple enough. I think we can vote on it tonight.
Yeah, we'll do.
yeah, I would move that we accept, or award, I should say, I move that we award the cleaning contract to Candace Conrad.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, second.
We did. Those in favor? All right, let's move on. Approval of minutes for the previous meeting, 2/21/24.
Move the minutes be approved as written.
Second.
Any changes, deletions, instructions? Okay. Those in favor?
She worked here.
she works in her back.
Oh, where's she?
Thank you.
Selectmen's comments, Tom?
Nothing.
Allison?
I was just gonna mention that, I know I got a note, but maybe others also got a note from MMA looking for photos of our town.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be happy to be if you have any, send it to me.
Photographer?
Well, not the photographer, but the conveyor of photos.
But it was really short.
I know, it's like
It
March.
was like next week or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so, that's it.
Public comments.
Wait.
Wait,
Wait.
Dale.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I got carried away. Dale?
What?
You got any support comments?
No.
Jason?
All right, I have a bunch. So first of all, so at the last meeting, I mentioned that we were waiting on the septic design. About an hour before the meeting, I've gotten it emailed, so we have the septic replacement design for the town office. So we have not heard back from Ruth just yet, so working on that. You all know about the Williams Family Cemetery situation. I think we talked about that. There's a proposal to meet on March 22nd at 3 o'clock here to bring the parties together. So that would be the Williams individuals and the landowners and think you all,
Been doing,
yeah.
yeah.
March 22nd at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, is that's a Friday, is that
That's gonna be
okay?
right on the site?
No, no,
No,
right
here.
But
Yeah.
meet here.
Yeah, be right here.
I got some legislative history
Yeah.
about some of the statutes.
Allison's worked on some stuff there to see what we have authority, not, or whatever, what do we
Is
do?
it possible to get some kind of a rough idea of, of where this, just a rough drawing of
Yeah.
how far this thing is on the road and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, they're gonna bring some information, so the folks that own the land got information when they closed on the property, that they were made aware of the cemetery, they didn't know where it was, it turns out it's, I don't know if there's a real super big issue except for access, and Allison's worked on that, like, under the law, how do these folks access it?
Yeah.
Do they have to give notice to the landowners?
At reasonable times, I think is part of the.
And that seems to be some of the hinging point, but the landowners would like to have us, I don't want to say mediate, but facilitate a meeting between the parties.
Well, I think there's, we'll find out that there's limitations on what they can do
That's right.
to the property.
The Williams family fellow there, he's gonna put down, outline what he's looking for, if you will. They've all been very polite, just, I think the two,
Okay.
yeah, anyway. Alice and I,
Where's the cemetery?
it's up off the mountain road.
Okay.
Yeah, it's off the mountain road, and Alice and I are,
That's what it's overstanding.
so we're following up on the signs that we talked about at the last meeting. She and I are meeting with Sunset Signs on Friday morning, and remember, you guys will see a proof before we agree to anything, but we worked on some verbiage, found the stuff that we talked about last spring. MDOT, my father informed me, but the water district obviously is coming back with this project. Talked to Dave Allen this morning, he's available Wednesday, so a week from today. We'd like to meet at 3 o'clock, we meet at 4 anyway, because we're doing the,
Yeah.
what
That's
is
the
it, temper
13th,
shelter.
right?
No, that's the
Oh, what did I get the wrong date?
CEO.
The CEO meeting, right, the
Yes.
13th, the CEO meeting with the other
This is
towns.
on the 13th.
12
is.
is donations.
And Dave Allen wants to do it at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, so an hour before the 4 o'clock meeting, I had said to him that the board would like to meet, the road commissioner would like to meet with him. Of course, this is mainly regarding 127, and Sean, it's a public meeting with just the region engineer to, and he knew, he kind of knows what. So we gotta figure out where we're at, and I think my father will figure out the rest of it, but the only other thing is, Monday night is the public hearing for the LD 2003 ADU ordinance that the town has been working, the planning board's been working on, and Greg Bukowski had mentioned last night at voting that,
This is the tiny house thing?
yeah, but if there
No,
are
it's
any
not tiny houses, it's
accessory
Additional
dwelling.
accessory dwelling units.
Yeah, so anyway, he wanted to, if any of the select board wants to come or is available to come Monday night,
5 o'clock?
I think it's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, it's
Yeah.
at the beginning of our regular meeting.
What's the tip for shelter?
I
Next
forgot.
week's
Sorry,
When's the 10th one, 12?
That's the 12th.
That's 12.
2:30?
That's just to donate, that's just budget. That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
2:30, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. For
The
now.
DOT is next Wednesday at 3.
Yeah. It's a public meeting, Sean, and what we wanted to do was meet with the DOT first and talk about, basically it's 127.
Yeah.
And, some of the problems, and anyway, that's it.
That's it?
That's enough, yeah.
I just wanted to say real quick, I've been serving on the county budget committee, and it really has dawned on me that we never get to vote on the county budget. Basically, the advisory committee, we're just that, advisory. We can look at what they want to spend, and we can say we're not real happy with that, and they take it under advisement, which means that they kind of do whatever they feel like. But, and I've talked to our state rep about the possibility of putting in a bill that would require the counties to actually have a county-wide vote on that budget. Because every year we get a bill from them. We get that bill in October. They don't spread it out over 12 months. We have to pay it then. And this year it's going to be well over $1 million. And, I mean, it just seems like that's taxation without representation, really. I mean, you've got people like me that are serving on the committee that look at it and say, well, geez, that's a lot of money. The county budget as presented right now, before they pared anything down, is going to be a 15.26% increase. And, I mean, what would happen if we went to town meeting with a 15% increase? People would be screaming at us. But nobody gets a chance to scream at the commissioners because their meetings are at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays. You know, it's really opened my eyes to this whole thing.
Question though, as the open public, are we gonna have the information and the knowledge necessary to make a good decision on whether we should or shouldn't? In other words, I don't even think what the budget consists of,
So-
what it goes to.
Right, truthfully, I guess the best thing I can say is you'll probably get the same information you got last year and for the last 40 years, which is virtually nothing.
So one way of thinking, one way that came to mind when David first mentioned it to me was the RSU does a warrant, as a town meeting warrant. And you go through, and we also vote on it in June, but anybody from the RSU can come and they go through each item. That's the first thing that came to my mind, so that we would be informed, rather than just being
I
given a
mean,
number.
this is only my second year serving on it, so I really can't give you a lot of information about how it works or anything, but the impression I'm getting is that they like to be insulated. I don't think they want public input.
But we could also, have a conversation with them and see what they,
At 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon.
well, we can have them come to us.
I think the chances of that is probably slim enough. But anyways, that's just, there's some of us on the committee that are like-minded with me that think that 15% increase is probably a little too much. Probably a lot too much. But I'll let you know, I'll keep you informed how it goes. This has really been an eye-opener for me. It really has, serving on this committee.
Well, we're glad you're there.
Is the actual budget, whatever, the running version of the budget available to the public anywhere?
It is a public document. I would think if anybody called up and asked for it, they'd have to give it to you, but
Call the county administrator's office, she'll give you, it's a booklet that thick. I get a copy every year.
I mean, I've got a copy.
Would you like to share?
I've got a,
Yeah, it's
Tom, to answer your question on that, I've got a copy at home of the preliminary budget. But they told us this year that they thought in years past they'd given out too much information, so there's very little,
That's not a great answer.
the
No.
COLA increases are 2.3% for some people. But some people are getting double that or triple that. And there's no justification. They didn't give us any paperwork for any justification, so we've got an all day on Friday. I'm gonna be there from 8 in the morning until like 3:30 in the afternoon. And I think I'm gonna ask for the paperwork that backs up these raises, you know? I'd like to know why one person gets 2.3% and somebody else gets 8.5, you know?
They're meeting on Tuesday, right?
What's that?
They meet next Tuesday, right?
My understanding, they meet at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Thank you.
It's not weekly though.
No, only, they're there, I think, once a month, maybe twice a month. That's the other thing, is the commissioners make, I think it's $8,700 a year right now,
Yeah.
and they're asking, they want to go to $15,000 a year. And my understanding is that they want full health insurance for a part-time job. So, we'll see how it all turns out. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's like first.
Okay, let's move on to public
Yeah,
comment.
right.
Debbie, you got anything you want to talk to us
I
about?
would just say that I think Opal did a super job yesterday,
I agree.
and that things went, it was a pretty light turnout.
Yeah.
But she had to deal with some people who were very upset because they weren't allowed to vote because they had signed that petition somewhere
the no
else last year,
parties?
the no label group.
Yeah.
And she handled that stuff really well. And then those of you who were setting it up and taking it down, I think the town just did a really smooth job.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Town Administrator, Kim.
All right, well, Debbie just covered my first one, elections.
How many people voted, Kim?
I'm sorry?
How many people voted?
I believe we had 517.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you post it
So
anywhere?
about
I've seen a
third-
couple of
about a third
towns
of
post the,
registered voters.
I don't believe, oh, no. I can put it
Okay.
out there though. So, as of February 25th, we acquired a piece of property. And I don't know what the board would like to do with that. We need to have a discussion. We do need to put it on our insurance because it's now town owned. And now we have to go through a special sale process if we want to do it. To get
Occupied?
rid of it. It is occupied. Yes.
This was the one we dealt with.
Yes, that was the one that we had the executive session for.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think we should explain the special way that we have to sell them now, and correct me if I say anything wrong. It used to be that if we got a tax-acquired piece of property, we could put it out to bid, and we kept all the money we got out of it. Now, the way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is we have to hire a real estate agent to sell it. And whatever we sell it for, we get to keep whatever taxes and costs are involved. But the rest of the money goes back to the person that didn't pay the taxes on the house.
Correct. Correct. Yep, that's the new law.
So,
We do all the work and they get the money.
I
right,
did not,
so basically, yeah.
I don't remember. It's been in the works for a while.
It has been. It's- Yeah, this is the first time, but yeah,
Sorry.
Here's the interesting thing about that. The last house that we tax acquired and sold, we didn't take it from an individual, we took it from the bank.
mhm.
So that means that when we sold that house for about $80,000 more than was owed on it for taxes, we would have had to write the bank a check for $80,000. So, I mean, it's just, the law is ludicrous.
Well, it is, and the part that I'm not clear about that whole thing, and I don't know if I ever got, understood it, we've done this before where there were multiple liens on a property
Correct.
that we trump, if you will, right? So we're number one, remember the one on Western Road that time,
Yep.
or whatever?
Yep.
There were multiple liens, so
Yep.
how does that ever get addressed?
Yeah, I know, like, do we have to pay the
Yeah,
liens
do we-
back, or do
yeah.
we give it to
I
the
mean, you
owner?
can't just give money back to the landowner when there's all these other, I mean, I just don't understand how all that works.
So the only one we don't trump is the IRS.
No, right, but I mean,
But I'm
I mean,
just saying, what if the IRS also had a lien on the
Right.
house? I mean, do we send the IRS a check?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the statute deals with if there's multiple liens from other,
yeah.
you know,
But
mortgage
then we
holders
just
or
don't trust
whatever.
the owner
It
to
just,
pay
you
off
know,
those
That
liens?
seems like a really
Right.
difficult,
I
yeah.
mean, we have run in, Jason's right, we have run into that in the
Yeah.
past where somebody had a mechanic's lien against the house because they'd put a new chimney on it or whatever, and now got paid for doing work.
Well, if you're, yeah.
Or, you know, on and on and on.
There were 6 or 7 on that one on Western, you know, they were, remember that, they were like,
Right.
the state, the garbage company, this company, all these different
And
folks. that
even the
we-
state of Maine had a
That's
lien
right,
on
they had a
it.
lien on it, yeah.
The state of Maine had a lien on it, it could have been lady had been on, he'd been in a nursing home, the state had paid for that, so.
So Kim, this is the only one in foreclosure this way, right?
yes.
Would it be wise to have a meeting, I know this is, we understand the whole thing, we understand what it would take to get out of foreclosure, but should we have a meeting with the individual that we called that day and just say, look, this is the deal, you gave us the number it would take to fix it?
Right.
And just say, look, this is the way it's gotta go, we don't have to act on it right away.
Correct.
We have to
do
insure
not.
it.
We do have to insure
We
it.
have to insure it, but we don't have to act on it necessarily.
Yes.
Maybe we should emphasize, like,
Well, except that, you know, this individual may find out that, oh, well, if they sell it, I'll get some money for it.
I don't know if we would sell it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, right, but where are they gonna live? though?
Yeah, I
In the
know.
case of this particular property, I don't think it would bring enough money that, we'd probably
Oh, yeah.
be lucky if we got what he owes on it.
Yeah.
Well, the flip side is where are they gonna live?
That's another
So
thing.
when you do that,
The other thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, if we're gonna insure it, I think we should insure it just for liability. I don't think we should put fire insurance on it or anything like that. I mean, what?
Is there a
As long as
requirement?
we're covered for liability.
Is there a requirement for what sort of insurance we have to?
I would think we just have to insure it for liability.
Yeah, it says, are you requesting general liability coverage only? Yes, that's all we want.
that's what it is, if somebody gets hurt on it.
Yeah.
Truthfully, this.
Did you get a quote?
Particular case at this house.
No, I haven't even filled out the paperwork yet.
But,
So,
I know we've got a lot on our plate, but I know we called that evening.
Yeah.
and
yes,
and I'd be
and I
happy
sent him a certified letter and told him that, you know,
Yeah.
this is what the board decision was, and this is what your options are, and I have not heard anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know where, what his
But here's the other thing, how long do we let it sit there with somebody living in it, not
Absolutely.
paying taxes?
Well, that's why I say, I think we we talk to that individual on the phone, I think we bring them into a meeting, if you will, executive session, and say, look, this is the deal, this is what it takes to get out of it.
The only thing is we'd have to do a phone call to him because
Yeah,
he has no
right.
transportation.
Right, but we're not gonna stay in this position forever.
Correct.
Because that isn't the right way to do it.
Right.
But obviously,
On-site meeting,
well, that's true too, we could all go there.
We can do that.
And that may be a good, that may be actually a very good idea.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, go right up there. I go by there a lot, and I would have spoken to him if he was out there, because we called, and
Yep,
he said what he said.
yep.
All right, well, anyway,
But the whole thing is that this new law that the state has passed has put us in a tenable situation here, because this could come up over and over, and.
Oh, it will.
And it just,
MMA, I think, has some guidance
Yeah, let's
on it.
see what they have to say.
And actually, I'm driving up to Belfast within the end of tomorrow, so I can,
Well, the multiple lane problem is
yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
that's not obvious how that would get
It
sorted out.
seems like this has been in the works for a long time, and it's been tweaked here and there, but I'd be happy to
yeah, look
Look
into
into
it, see if there's, and it
They
might
don't
be-
ever do anything that benefits the towns. We get shafted everywhere.
I try really
Yeah.
hard.
It
It's
might
not
pay
fair.
Kim to talk to somebody up in MMA and see if
Okay.
they have any guidance.
Birds of a feather.
Do you want to do it?
That's fine.
Okay, all right, okay.
I mean, I know other towns have
Well,
sent emails out on the listserv of how to, and actually it needs to go onto the, on the warrant of the new wording on this.
To be,
The thing it is how long are we, I mean, if somebody's not paying their taxes, they're still getting fire insurance,
Oh, yeah.
fire coverage, they're getting the sheriff, they're getting their kids put in school and everything else, and they're not paying for any of that. That's not fair for the
no,
rest of the town.
no, that's right, David, and I think this board, or the last many years, we've been very, very good about that.
Yeah.
If you can't pay, tell us why. If you, but it isn't gonna get better, and it isn't sustainable. So, we know what the number is to fix it, and that's a good idea. I think we should, I don't know when we can do it, we're quite busy
Right.
next week or two, but I think we should go on
So
Sunday.
if we insure it, is that part of what we get refunded?
I would think it would be, right?
yeah.
Isn't that a
I
cost?
think so.
It should be,
Yeah.
Any cost?
yeah.
Okay.
This is my first time doing this, so I'm not.
Well, that's the
Great
thing,
you guys are.
it puts us in kind of a catch-22 situation here. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't want to live in there for nothing and not paying their taxes. By the same token, if we put them out of the house,
Then
they immediately become
Yeah.
available for us to
Okay.
pay for housing for them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
Right, comes
it's a
to GA.
catch-22.
No,
Yeah.
they're gonna be fine, they're gonna have a bag of money.
I know.
Anything else, Kim?
Yes, I do. So I checked with MMA on the shellfish and the senior tax ordinances, and they do not require a public hearing. And I know I had mentioned it to you guys, so we need to kind of collaborate on how you want to get the word out about the senior tax to the residents.
Well, what about just doing like not an official public hearing, but I think you had sort of mentioned this, right? Just sort of maybe having an informational meeting
Yeah,
or.
I just don't think that, I mean, who comes to the meetings? I
we
should
still
say it.
We still haven't mailed out that, public safety
Oh.
resilience grant mailing yet. So we
Oh.
have an opportunity
Right,
Okay,
to, because that's gonna go to every house in town.
right.
It should cover all the ordinance stuff that's coming up.
Sure,
Or
I
at
mean,
least mention,
it's,
not
Yeah.
have
When
it
are we
all
doing
written
that?
out, but.
I have a list of like 2 things that we wanted to include in the sort of questionnaire type
Yeah.
thing, and so there's still, yeah, we're ready to do that
Okay.
anytime,
is
so.
that the public safety
Yeah,
committee?
yeah, so that's the fridge
Yeah,
magnet
it'd be
and
nice to do it before the meeting
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah,
people are
so-
aware of it, right?
Yeah.
Just get some information out there.
I wonder if we could just, instead of sending out like the shellfish ordinance and the changes.
Solar.
Is the solar, so.
And the A.
Accessory dwelling unit
Right,
thing.
yeah.
I wonder if we could just provide a link to, or call the town office, or we could put it on our website or something.
Yeah, with the LD 2003, then nobody's gonna know at the town office how to explain that.
Well, that's what I mean. Can you link it,
Solar.
can you
Really?
link it to the ordinance change,
We just give a quick overview of what's going on with them and tell them that the ordinances are available to read in town hall.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sure.
that's what I,
Yes.
yeah.
Just like a good, like 2 or 3
And we can
sentence
put a copy of
description
each
of
Yeah.
ordinance out on the front desk, out in the lobby, so that they
Absolutely,
can
and I'll
walk
put it
in.
on, yeah.
We could have Greg write the thing on.
Put it on the website.
Yeah.
and,
Okay, a couple more things I have. So next Tuesday, or no, I'm sorry, but next Wednesday, when we meet with the other select board members from Georgetown and Aroustic, Denise from Aroustic needs to be by Zoom. Tommy, I don't have the Zoom account anymore, so can you create a link for a
Yeah,
Zoom meeting?
where are we actually doing the
We're
meeting?
doing it here.
Okay.
So if you can create one and send it to me, and I can send it out to whoever, any of the select board members, that I can attend,
That's
appreciate that.
next-
And it's at 4 o'clock next
4
Wednesday.
o'clock next Wednesday, got it.
Yeah,
And we have to announce that as a special select board meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, because remember, we're gonna be here at 3 anyway,
Right.
yes,
the DOT.
Right, no, I just, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so it is a special select board.
yeah. And to kind of go off of what Jason said, Nate Bodge sent an email to me, and because Ranger reached out to Jack and wants to have a meeting, and you suggested that we meet with the select board, so Nate wants to know when the next select board meeting is. I said the 20th, but I also threw out the 13th, or the 14th, 13th as well, after the Georgetown and the Aroustic meeting, so.
But you have not
I
heard
have
back.
not heard back from Nate.
Boy, I don't,
So-
can we wait till the 20th?
We can, I mean-
There's just so much to do going on.
Yeah.
I know, but is it okay?
I didn't know we were meeting at 3 that day.
No, well, like I say, they started fast tracking this.
I
Do
know.
we have anything going before the 20th, right, the 20th?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's early.
Do the DOT and,
Well,
DOT is
the
next week.
DOT is next week ananyway.
next.
Yes,
DOT 's
so
next.
That's
March
because-
20th
yeah.
at 4:30 or 4 o'clock.
You better be here at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on March 20th, I will throw that out to Nate Bodge, okay?
Okay.
All right, that's all I got.
Thank you. All right, road commissioner, Jack.
Well, needless to say, we're in mud season. Doing the best we can to cope with it. We will get through it. We have, the biggest issue is Chop Point. And they're coping very well, the people are very gracious, and we're doing the best we can do with it. There's no sense to spend a lot of money on it at the time because you can't get in. So when the price comes out, which is coming out quite decent, and tonight's rain will help even more, believe it or not, it will pull the price out. Why we should start hardening up and getting on the road to recover. So, I guess that's the best I can tell you.
Well, the weather report today said that, and they included us in the area, they said that tonight and tomorrow we're gonna have flash floods, culvert problems, and
Yeah.
everything else. And then they said again on Sunday night, Saturday night
Yeah.
and Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do a thing to that, is it?
Yeah, so they,
Yeah,
they said,
right, yeah.
they said inch and a half, or inch and 3/4 worth of rain tonight and
Yeah.
tomorrow. And then the same again on Sunday, so.
To just throw a nickel into the deal on the DLT meeting with coming up, my concern, one concern, I was thinking, when they are ripping the 127 all apart, the southbound traffic on 127 is probably gonna wanna shoot right out on Quasic Road, instead of going down through and being delayed during all that construction. And somehow, this should not be our obligation to govern this.
make-
We can't afford to have all that traffic
Well, I know, we don't want you to do it right now, but if you guys remember, last May, when we had the first meeting before construction started, everything they told us, they did not do. They weren't even gonna work on the Quassa Road last year, then they ended up starting with 2 crews. And so I think that we've got an awful lot of things to iron out. The first thing with Dave Allen next week, in my opinion, is we need to vent our frustration with the state road and with the comments we've heard and whatever the road commissioner has to say, but the way it's done, the traffic, the people's property that got impacted, all this stuff. I am guessing, but I'm confident they're probably gonna still wanna use 2 crews, right? And that makes Woolwich really difficult because we mess up.
I know they are, Jason, they're
Yeah,
gonna keep on
that's
going
right.
out of the closet and head right down. And
I think what we've learned about all this is they don't do what they say.
That's
they do.
right, they didn't finish Nequasit, did they?
Now, there's a 500-600, whatever it is.
Well, 500 feet will have to get out to the middle road.
But they don't do as they say. now.
Oh,
Can we make it plain to the state and to the contractor that we will not tolerate the Quassa Road being a defective bypass?
When I called Dave Allen today, I said, Dave, the board would like to meet with you and the road commissioner would like to meet with you prior to the bigger meeting. It's all public, but we want to meet, and he said, I completely understand. Because I said, we're not really happy with the condition of 127, and we just need to understand to answer to the folks that live here.
They promised when they started that traffic would be slowed on the middle road, but it would never be stopped,
Right.
right? And that, it's.
Not the case.
It's not the case. They
And there's some what do you call it, standard issues, if you will, standards of construction. I think when you drive what's already there, like what's going to be done. Before we get deeper, don't we need to correct some of the problems? Or at least know what's going to happen?
Well,
Anyway.
I just think the bottom line for us is that we do not want Quassa to end up being a defective bypass. We don't want, our schools on that road, we don't want to funnel all those 15 passenger vans that come down the middle road every morning screaming out.
right.
How do you stop it?
Well, frankly, we may have to get a little tougher this time around.
They may have to put a person out there, Dale.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes, listen, everything has been in their court so far. They've done everything their way, they haven't cared one concern about I have argued with these people more than I've ever argued before in my life with any project in this town. And I get nowhere with them, and I am very upset about it.
Well,
Well, then I think we should enlist Dave Allen as an ally.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
this time around, we may have to, it's like before they even started the Quassa Road, we have got to know some things.
What would it cost us to run a temporary traffic light?
No, David, I think we're going to,
We should-
no,
no, it is.
no, we should not have, that's right, we should not have to do anything.
I know, we should.
We
It
got
should
to-
not cost the taxpayers of the town of Woolwich anything. We are not benefiting from this project at all. Other than we're gonna have a bunch of fire hydrants down
3
the
services.
middle road. Other than that, we get no benefit out of this
Well, I
project at all.
Yeah, right,
They wasn't even supposed to use,
No.
New Quasit Road is legally posted, which we have a right to do, and they ignored every bit of it. Reed is a hometown boy, and we wouldn't let them use the Quasit Road.
Right.
Everything's
if you remember when
been backwards.
That's right, when they started the whole thing, nobody ever said the Quassa Road was, well, I'm talking about back when they started in Route 1, the first few nights, all of a sudden we find out the next day they shut down the road and they used the Quassa Road, nobody ever said that, and then they started the job, and we know all the story, staging area and all the problems, and the folks, we have everybody in the room pretty much has gotten dozens of complaints about this, and we don't have good.
I think what probably falls into my thoughts a little bit more is, it can look to the people that we're not doing our job.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
No, I don't.
That's it in a nutshell. If you go on that We the People thing in here in Woolwich on Facebook, they are always frying us because we're not taking care of the middle road. And the middle road's a mess, and the middle road this, and then the middle road that. And no matter how many times you tell them that it's a state road, and we don't have any control over it,
They don't
hear it.
understand though, it's in our town, why would they understand?
But we gotta try, we gotta try and do the best we can.
But they're gonna sit there and nod their heads, yes, and we're gonna do
But
this.
we are,
You can't believe
see,
it.
last year we couldn't do that. Last year it was very hard to sit here in May and be accusatory because
Hadn't done it.
we ain't done anything yet. So we had our doubts, but we didn't know. So then now we have some history, and we know that. And so I don't know what will happen, but let's start with Dave Allen on the state road. All right. Anyway.
Thank you for.
There's gotta be a way that we can somehow limit the travel on our road. What if we posted the road all summer?
It's posted.
It's posted for truck traffic now.
Yeah, but we're talking about vans coming to VIW.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys have a right to go downtown.
I know, I
How
know.
do you stop
I
them?
mean, even the state there, when they do a state project, they at least reach out to the town and say, hey, remember we didn't sign it for the bridge project? Like, we need approval from the town to do this and this, this. This is falling in a, gray area.
It doesn't matter whether the town of Wisconsin is having a parade, you still don't want 218 trucks, right?
Right.
Well, the hard thing is that Bath Water District has the same autonomy as a town does. And they're a public entity, and they, in spite of what everybody thinks, they have nothing to do with the city of Bath. It is not, Bath Water District is not anything to do with the city of Bath.
At the same time, the rest of the stuff's going on.
Max Wilder Bridge is gonna be,
Yeah, that's gonna be one lane.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the Wooden Bridge is shut down for 90 days or whatever. Oh, it's gonna be a crazy,
You're gonna be able to go anywhere in Woolwich.
Just stay
I need to
home.
talk to my
To
brother.
bother you, really.
I'll go.
Well, let's start next week, but
All
anyway.
right, thank you, Jack.
I think it was starting that soon.
Codes officer, do we have a,
Nope, but Danny's gonna leave. Nothing from Chris.
all right, EMS. 25 calls in February, of the February calls, 24 patients received, 14 were transported. Personnel being standard step down as volunteer roles as QA, QI officer for personal reasons, though he remains with the department. Wisconsin EMS Director Aaron Bean has agreed to fill in for this position for now. Equipment, the state distributed kangaroo fixed newborn restraint devices,
Yep, it's,
whatever that is. And we were given one, which is on Rescue One. Our providers are currently training in the use of this. Let me know how the kangaroo works out.
It's like for carrying
it's
infants.
the holding in.
Kids.
It's a device that holds into.
We held the cataract arrest training on February 26th, and it was well attended. I hope the kangaroo survives.
The weird name, but it's a.
Fire Chief Sean Merrill.
6 calls since the last meeting, nothing other significant. We're gonna start getting ready. I just was talking to the Forest Service this afternoon. We're gonna be ahead of schedule this year with forestry stuff and wildfire season. There's no snow counter, so I've already got some pamphlets from them. So, who do I need to see about a couple modifications to the town website for some of these things? Like you or?
Yeah,
Okay.
or,
I've got a couple of things.
or Tommy,
Okay,
yeah.
I got a couple of like diagrams that I'd like to somehow get on there that public education for people, for the state's released some new laws this year for burning, open burning. At least it makes it a little bit clearer. People know how big and what they can burn. And
How many of those did you get?
this is the only one they mailed me, but I've requested much more. So, yeah. Other than that, we've got a bunch of training. We've got the rest of the year planned out for training. We've got a calendar posted from now through July 1st. So it's gonna be a busy stretch here to get us through July. But all I've got. Oh, I've got one new member. They get approval of. She is engaged to Captain Bailey. They're in the process of building a house or getting ready to get land to build a house in Woolwich. She's not going anywhere. She's an experienced firefighter from Edgecombe.
Danny gave me this already.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, there we go.
I already have
Anyway, she's an experienced firefighter EMT in Edgecombe.
Okay.
Her dad's actually the Edgecombe fire chief. Very good girl, so I'd like to get her approval to get her hired for, she wants to do fire as well, so. She's already fully trained, she's got a bunch of certificates, so it's gonna be a good addition.
I have a question about the basement. Where did all that junk come from?
So, we had to remove a filing cabinet from the EMS room. I had no idea this existed until like a month ago. And it was a four-tier cabinet, and the stuff in there,
Is that one?
I mean,
Yeah.
there's at least 15 shelves down there taken up with Christmas decorations,
Oh, that's
trophies.
all. I'll have to look at that, that's not new, that's, the only thing new would be files from the filing cabinet, that's the only thing
No,
new
there's,
that's down there.
there's a bunch of stuff down there that hasn't been there very long. There's enough Christmas decorations down there to decorate 4 buildings.
Huh.
So
That's good, I'll look.
if you could
I-
just sort through it. Now, like, there's 4 boxes of trophies down there.
Yeah.
Do they mean anything to you? If
I-
they do, why are they down there?
You're asking the wrong person. I'd have to ask somebody, but
You want them on your desk? We'll bring them up to your desk.
We'll bring them
all
up.
up to your desk.
What we're looking at is, we wanna clean out the basement.
Yeah.
We're gonna get rid of a bunch of our stuff, and truthfully, we'd like to have you guys go through your stuff, and if it's absolutely something, if you gotta keep some of those fake Christmas tree stuff and all that, there's at least 2 Christmas trees down there.
How's that?
One of
That
them's
aren't
ours.
There's one down there that's ours, but
It's
there's at least 2
red
more
bag.
down there that aren't ours. I didn't know you guys ever decorated for Christmas.
Yeah, we didn't do much this year, but they've.
But anyways, there's half a dozen rolls, brand new rolls of 100-foot long rolls of Christmas.
Oh yeah,
trees.
yeah, those are our
Stuff like
associations.
that. It's just, if there's anything you can do to get some of it out of there, it would be a big help. Because we were down there last night putting away all the stuff from the election, and you know, we're stacking stuff up.
Yeah, no, we'll go through it. I can't. The problem is I don't have any more than you guys have for storage. I had to vacate that completely because they want more storage in there.
But
So all I've got is this room. This room's almost chock-a-block full.
it
So.
must have come from somewhere, and I mean, there's a ton of stuff down there. So if you get somebody down there and see if there's anything you guys can park with, okay? And if you don't care anything about the trophies, get rid of them. Mark anything that you want to get rid of, and we'll make sure that it goes away. Okay? And the other thing is, the little red building is still here.
Yeah, I know. I've chatted with them again. I'll ask the guys again. They get emptied out, but I can only ask so much.
What's in
There's
it?
stuff in it?
It's association stuff, and it's not association auxiliary, but the problem our auxiliaries. Since I've been chief, we've never had one.
Just
So
painted or whatever.
that's the problem. I've got to go through it. Okay, who needs what?
Would it be easier if
What
I
if
was
you
up to
do,
your
don't
house?
put it down so.
No,
Okay?
it's probably
Whatever
not.
you do,
most of
don't
it's
put
probably
anything
not-
out of that building down so.
Yeah, we'll go through it, and I gotta. The problem, the other thing, that's the only way we can get up to that pole right now to hang hose. So I've got to get those ropes replaced with longer ones that can reach down. The
So you get
problem,
on the building now to get to the ropes?
yeah, so we stay on top of the building.
I see.
But here's the problem: you leave them down lower, then you're gonna have some kid out there playing with a rope, hanging himself, or you know what I mean? It's not safe. It's got to be up high enough so that.
Swinging off it like Tarzan.
We all like TVs still.
We are.
Who's the chair of the area?
I don't know. All right.
Anyway, that's all I got. So.
Okay, thank you. New business, review of the bank reconciliation.
Yes.
Vice Chair.
Yep,
Go ahead,
Jason
Kim.
and I met this afternoon and went through 3 months of bank statements, November, December, and January. We're getting to the point now where we're starting to get a little low on funds, so tax bills have gone out, and hopefully should replenish the bank account. I did tell Jason that, and I think I talked to some other board members, that the ARPA funds, that we basically only have 20,000 of it left, but I have left that money into that savings account because it yields a high interest.
The entire amount
The entire amount, there's like 200 and some odd thousand
is still in.
still in there.
Oh.
So I've left it in there.
We've spent it, we just haven't
Spent
transferred.
it, I just haven't transferred it over.
It
We
earns,
only had 10,000 left, we have 20,000?
Well, after the culverts,
right,
we haven't spent that yet.
Right, so the way we worked it out the other day, right, 10,000 still for culverts.
Yes.
That leaves around 10,000, and then I think, and the board may
The
want to.
signs.
Well, we had to do these signs, but then I think the replacement of the
The heat pumps.
unit.
Yeah.
We can transfer
We're
that
getting down to the
over to
wire,
it.
we gotta commit that.
Yeah, if we don't spend it, we have to give it back. I don't wanna give it back.
Well, how much are the heat pumps?
It
It's like
was,
65,
yeah, remember, it was a replacement,
Okay.
it was a replacement of the one
Okay.
that was
yeah.
damaged by the
Okay.
critters and all the.
But all the interest that's accumulated, we get to keep.
Yeah.
We don't have to account for that whatsoever.
To the feds?
Correct.
Yeah. One of the things that, so we'll have, what, about 2,000?
Well, we don't know what the signs are, if the sign, I mean, the sign's gonna be $2,500, so that
Yeah.
means, yeah, that leaves, whatever, a couple thousand,
Yeah.
maybe.
So one of the things I was just talking
More.
with Danny about, and he had to leave, so, so maybe he knows more about it, is that apparently there, except for our ambulances, and maybe you know this, there are very few, if any, portable AEDs in
Yeah.
town. And I think he was talking about like $1,500, $2,000
Yeah.
to have one here and that, provide training.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I support it too. I'd like to see one for this building.
that's what he was
The one
talking
that's just on
about.
the wall in the room.
Yeah,
There's
Right.
a,
yeah.
Whether it's next door, ideally next door, so that if somebody ever came into the town office and, if we're not here, you guys don't know where the stuff is out there to go get one.
And if you're,
It might,
yeah.
that 5 minutes it takes somebody to get in and get stuff, you guys can already have that out in deployment. I mean, it tells you how to do everything, so.
Yeah.
there's this new program that Danny was explaining to me that you don't probably know about this too. You can call dispatch and they can tell you where the nearest AED
Yep.
is
Right,
from
yeah,
where
that's
you
what he was
are.
telling me.
We're in the process.
So
of
if somebody is
Yeah,
just sort
yeah.
of randomly coming through town, they can be told if they call 911, go to the town hall, there's an AED there. You know.
We bought one over,
Let me try. Okay.
we bought one over the up in Wiscasset, it was nowhere near that kind of money, it's just a little red thing hangs on the wall and it's.
I don't know, I thought he told, do you?
Yeah, that 1,500, 2,000.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, actually, Danny showed me something earlier this week. You found a big discount on something, so it was like
Yeah.
closer to $1,000.
Anyway, that's just, I thought we could
Right.
ask, these guys for more details about it.
Yeah. Should we vote on that to fund the replacement? We already got it.
Already paid for it,
No,
yeah.
no, but should we
The
vote
heat pumps?
should we vote to pay for that from the ARPA funds?
Sure.
Do we need to?
But,
Well, the thing
I
is,
think it makes it efficient.
we just don't wanna take it from the municipal building reserve, right?
Right.
We've already, yeah.
No, right, but you can put it back
Yeah,
there.
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll move to do that. I move that we pay for the heat pump replacement from the ARPA funds.
Second.
Those in favor?
I mean, all that does is leave a little more in the building reserve for all this stuff we always do.
I believe we're supposed to vote on the reconciliation of the
Oh, yeah.
taxes.
Just waiting for somebody to make a motion.
Do you recommend
Yeah.
a motion?
Yeah.
Pardon me? I do
Mr. Vice Chair, you
recommend,
do?
yeah, I think you need to make a motion and I sign the reconciliation.
I would let Jason sign the reconciliation.
You motion that you saw?
Second.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Those in favor?
Okay, let me sign those when I get a chance.